Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. And if you have a question that you would like for me to answer, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Just make sure you keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're also very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, or if I don't understand what you're asking, unfortunately, I will not be able to respond. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification, and you also hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload videos on this channel 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. The fastest way to get a hold of me if you need my help, though, is to go down to the links below and book a paid coaching session. I do one-on-one coaching sessions, and I also have a coaching community. With that being said, let's get into this email. So this email comes from a person who is struggling with co-parenting with a narcissist. And so this person has a young child, and when you are co-parenting with a narcissist, this comes with a lot of problems because a lot of times, even though you might be divorced, the narcissist tries to keep controls in a lot of different ways. And in this situation, the child is starting to recognize. And so how do you have that conversation with the child whenever they start to recognize that their parent is narcissistic and might be controlling? So let's get into this email. So this email reads, "Hi Matt, my daughter's father and I split after a nasty discard and separation when she was 2.5. Good job, right? Even though she was young, it's always better for the child. There's a common myth that it's better for the child to stay, for you to stay for the children, not when it's a toxic relationship. She is now almost 8, a mature 8 due to circumstances. And she's starting to see the truths about her dad. Very, very good." So this email continues. "I'm not sure how to reply or support her when we have these conversations. I try my best and I want her to know exactly what she's trying to explain or how she feels." I'm going to circle back to that statement here in a second. "I also want to reassure her I'm here and I'm grounded and she has stability with me. I also worry about what I say getting used against me if she says something back to him." And that's always a concern because we never necessarily want to talk badly about the parent because it's not good for them, but it's also not a good look for you in court either if it makes it up that far. So this email continues. "He's really a piece of work though, and it's not my job to fix it and fluff him to make him look better than what he is." That's very, very true. And that's a common mistake that a lot of people make, is that they try to convince the child that their parent still loves them and this is the way that they love them, and they make excuses for that parent's bad behavior, and that's always a mistake. But it sounds like you're doing a good job so far. And so she says, "I'm not his fluffer anymore. I do believe in little truths for little kids, bringing it to their level. I'm not much for lying, and I want to be able to be open to a certain level that would be necessary at her age and maturity. Any advice would be appreciated." So thank you very much for writing in. And this is a very, very important question. And so far from what I'm hearing, everything you're doing is good. But let's be very clear about what we're looking for and how do you handle these type of situations. So one of the things I mentioned is that it's never good, it's never healthy for the child when you're talking shit about the other parent. I'm not hearing any elements of that, but I hear that you're kind of guarded in that area. However, right, it's a whole nother ball game when your child comes to you about complaints on the other side. So you don't want to be proactive to them about what's happening. What you want to do is you want to validate their experience. So let's say that your daughter comes back and she says, "At Dad's house, I noticed that he's lying and he's constantly yelling," right? We don't want to project your experience onto her. We want to be there for her. Going back to something you said in terms of wanting to be a stable person for her, those are all good traits and those are all good features. And how you do that is that you put your needs aside and your need to project and your experience with him aside, and you validate for her. Really? That's terrible. That must have felt really bad. How did you feel when he said these things? Right? I was really scared when he was raising his voice. Yeah, that sounds really scary. Here's some things that you can do, right? You want to be there for her, right? This is about her. This is about her feelings. This is about validating her. When you start getting into, yeah, when your dad used to yell at me, I used to get scared. We are now taking the focus and the attention off of your child. We want to keep it onto her, on her feelings, on her experience, and go deeper when she comes up to you and starts to talk. So this does a couple of things. This is not you projecting. Number one, this is the proper thing to do. Even courts would applaud that, right? And there's nothing for her to take back to him because this isn't about you. This is her experience. This is her feelings. And even if the narcissist did try to manipulate and try to pull something out of her that was said, remember, these are her stories, right? This is her experience, right? And courts, lawyers, people like that, guardian ad litem, they can tell when it's you're projecting your story versus something that they have experienced, right? There's some obvious ways to tell, like, for example, timelines, if the daughter is talking about certain times that she was being yelled at versus stories that you've kind of placed in her head based on dad's character flaws and things of that nature. So thank you very much for writing in. To just a small recap, we want to be focused on your daughter. We want to be focused on her feelings. We want to validate her feelings. We want to go deeper. We want to explore and continue to allow for her to open up. And we want to do that in a way where we're not projecting our own feelings onto her, right? And continue to give her the experience, because it sounds like so far you're doing a very, very good job. So thank you very much for writing in. Again, anyone else would like for me to answer a question for you, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. With that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.